Hola. Yo, what's going on, y'all? Out there in USL League One land. This is your number one show for all things happening around USL League One. We give you the updates, we give you the stats, we give you a whole bunch of crappy jokes that are probably mixed in with beer, somewhere in between. This is your host, as always, Elliot. Joining me is Ed, and if you can tell, this is our first white co-host, so our credit is good. Mark, how you doing, man?
Uh, Good man. I'm one of the three generic white guys from Who Gives a Hoot. So
Yeah, you are. Like
yeah,
you're one of the guys that when we gotta go to like the light company and be like, hey, look, our lights are
yeah,
turned off, we buy you and be like, hey, look, pay this light bill for me.
for sure. No, I always joke because I train in social services, and I always joke that I'm like the walking epitome of white privilege, right? Because I I'm a middle class white dude. Like I'm aware of my privilege, but I also know that I'm the walking epitome of that. So yeah, it's funny. Um,
Hey, it works out, man. It always
yeah,
does.
exactly.
I'm
We
gonna
are
have
glad.
moonshine today.
Oh,
Hey,
you're
right
about to
on.
get fucked. Ryan, we are glad to have you on the show, man. For those who don't know, Cal is probably somewhere in between Madison and Milwaukee, drunk, because game two of the NBA Finals on, and his team is in it. So fuck Cal and fuck forward. You can say that, but he's not on.
Damn.
Oh man.
Hey, look, you missed the show. This is what happens. Um,
That's
but
fair.
yeah, but let's go on. Let's talk about last week's results. Any games that stuck out to you guys? I'm going to quickly run through the results. So on Wednesday the 30th, you had South Georgia versus Toronto FC 2-1 for that was a Toronto win. On Saturday, you had Richmond in a 3-2 comeback over North Texas. South Georgia had a draw against North Carolina FC. Union Omaha tied 1-1 with Chattanooga Red Wolves, or I was like to call them the Chaos Wolves. SD Tucson had a 2-1 win over Fort Lauderdale after recently firing their head coach. And then on Sunday, we had Revs to get smacked silly by Greenville Triumph. Any of those games stick out to you guys? Any prominent ones?
Uh,
Mm.
I don't want to go to the obvious one for me. Obviously, Who Gives a Hoot? We talk about Union Omaha quite a bit. I'm actually doing this in lieu of us recording, so it works out. But I actually not to pander to the River City '93 crowd, but I actually thought the Richmond comeback was really exciting. We don't get too many comebacks in USL League One, so to see
No,
things
we
like that
don't.
happen are fun.
Nah, and look, I was in the stadium. I'm not gonna lie to you. At halftime, when it was went up 2-1, I was like, "Yo, fuck this, I'm done." Like I poured me like two 32-ounce beers, and I'm just like, "Fuck it, I'm about to get blasted." And then next thing you know, like we come back and win, and I'm like hammered. I'm tired. Like, yes, it was cool. It was great. I think the game that really stuck out to me the most was all right. So one, South Georgia, because if
Yeah.
you can't tell, like I am on the South Georgia bandwagon. Like I am trying to get them into the playoffs. But
Wow.
I'm trying, man. Look, that was my pick. I gotta stick with them. I can't be like Skip Bayless and just ban on them.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but all right, so Wednesday, like South Georgia was dominating the games, like to the point
Yeah.
I think I tweeted it out where Toronto did not have a shot on goal. And then like the last 10 minutes, Toronto has three shots and all of them go in. And I'm like, what the fuck is South Georgia doing?
Yep.
Like they are the most consistent team I've
Yep.
ever seen.
Yeah. Well, they're just so young too. Like that's half of it, you know.
I mean,
Yeah, they
that's
are.
that's us too in a nutshell. We're
Yeah.
super freaking young. We just got Nas back for that game,
Mm.
like for that South Georgia game,
Yeah.
So
And
how
that's
was
that's
and
why you
Christo.
oh word. So how was that game against South Georgia and Toronto? I mean North Carolina.
It wasn't bad. It was a one. It was a not 1-1 0-0 draw. Both sides looked like they were playing for a draw and got what they wanted. South Georgia definitely had a lot of possession. Definitely had a lot of chances. Um, it was more about a lot of our veterans coming back.
Mhm.
Um, which is great. And watching that game, seeing the way Frame can control a game is awesome. I can't wait to see Frame, JT, and Nas play together, like fully for like a full game. I think that'll be fun, and I think that's kind of gonna be like our solid like triangle going in, like with Frame up top. I don't know how Christo was feeling. He looked good, but obviously he didn't play long. It was only a few minutes. Hopefully our next game, who is what is it, Toronto? No, Greenville.
Yeah, y'all got Greenville.
Yeah. Oh God, that's gonna be something, especially after that whole kicking the ball into the fans thing, and the fans throwing shit at him and all that stuff. I was like, God, this game is gonna be a fucking bloodbath.
Yeah.
I don't know let's see which way I go. Can you see my North Carolina FC scarf?
Yeah, I love it. I saw it earlier. I was like, okay.
I got that before they moved down though. So
vintage.
Yeah, there you go. Now my wife's family is actually from Cary, so that's why I got it. Like, oh, it's a family thing, and then now it just happens to be a League One scarf up there.
Does your wife know, like, they're in League One? Like, did she follow soccer at all?
She goes to the matches with me, but no, she just goes and has fun.
She's pretty much chaperones, just to make
kind of, yeah. Well,
she's the DD.
Yeah, when we take our daughter, we have a 7-year-old, so she goes and just to brag on her a minute, she got to lead the march in not the July 3rd because we were out of town, but the game before that. So when Parliament marches in through, my daughter was up front holding up a big owl and leading the drums out there. Yeah, so it was fun.
Time out. Like an actual owl? Like,
no.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, like,
picture.
No, they're
I
those.
Want to know. I just want to know.
It's those plastic ones that you put up to scare away like squirrels and shit. You know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, people put them on their deck and so yeah.
I
thought you meant just like a cardboard cutout.
That'd be sweet too, though.
I was just saying it would be cool to see like a Serio, like a real like Pokemon trainer, just having an owl like that.
I choose you.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
What is this, LAFC?
That would be hilarious. So, all right, this is the game that I really want to talk about too, because another reason we got you on here, one, because Kyle is gone, but you can give us an expert about Union Omaha and Chattanooga, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I dead ass thought y'all was gonna win this game.
Jesus,
Union Omaha is coming right off of Greg Hurst, 3 hat trick, right?
Yeah, well, no, that was 2 matches ago.
Okay.
But he's scored now. If you include July, he's scored 5 in the last 6 matches. So our song makes sense. He's been on fire. But so first of all, we were at a wedding that night, so I had to turn off notifications on my phone so that I wasn't like getting too much updates. So I had to watch it back later. It's also good we didn't have Luke on because it was Luke's birthday, and I'm pretty sure that Luke was hammered by the time that game started. But yeah, Greg scores a great volley. I mean, the cross across, the header back across the box. Greg gets it on a one-timer on the volley, gets it past the keeper. You could tell he was pissed that ball even went past him. Part of the reason why we didn't want to record was because Luke was afraid to turn into like a 45-minute ref rant because that red card was super confusing. We're not really sure what happened there. I don't know if the way that JP came up, his head kind of came up and into the body, if that indicated to the ref that he was headbutting or something. I don't know what happened there. But then for the guys to hang on for 35 minutes down a man, and then to give up a crazy bonkers goal at the end where that ball, it looked like a ping pong, it was just all over the place and it bounced in. And unfortunately, that happened to us a few times during that match where they'd get one in there and it would hit the crossbar, bounce around the box a little bit before somebody cleared it. So it was almost kind of one of those, you're down a man and you've let it happen. Eventually the ball's going to go in type thing,
Yeah.
Doesn't it hurt to have Hernandez just come on as that super sub and score a goal against you? I know that. I know those feels, man. I know those
Yo,
feels.
I'm so
And what-
tired of him, man.
Oh my
I'm
god.
tired of
Fucking-
him.
God.
I'm sick of their late shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Like
yo,
you can't
over
survive
it.
that way.
they can't. And I'm really wondering, like, is this the Chattanooga that is going to be like end of the year? Like they're going to hold on and or is it eventually just going to like burst? Because at some point, man, like you're winning games super duper tight, holding on to the last second.
Yeah. That was at
Yeah,
90,
because-
93rd minute against us. They've had a couple late, like sub 8 or past 80-minute wins. Yeah. You guys, I mean, both of you guys know, right? Like it's I don't know. But on the flip side, how many 1-goal wins did Omaha have last season? And everybody kept saying that about us. Like, oh, it's got to burst on them. It's got to burst on them. And somehow, like, I think eventually it just becomes part of your DNA for the season. And teams, you just gain confidence, But
Yeah.
I don't know. It was I kept saying it about Madison and Omaha, where that one's become kind of chippy. The two teams seem to get kind of after each other. But after that match against Chattanooga, I think that when Omaha and Chattanooga could become one of those matches where those two teams just go after each other, because it was pretty physical too.
That's everyone in Chattanooga. Rich
Yeah,
was the same
Eric's
way.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and
the blows.
See, in
Chattanooga instantly makes me want to punch them. Like,
well, they broke Dami's ribs last year. And then we had that 3-game losing skid when he was out, and it's one of those things. It's just like, I don't know. And we can't make fun of them for not having lights anymore because they have lights now. So
let me ask you this question. It's really like 2 parts. How annoying would it be if Chattanooga won the playoffs? And the other question is, do you think Chattanooga gets one of the top 2 seeds this year based on how they are right now?
all right. So to answer your second question, no,
Okay.
they're not going to survive. Like we said, like I think Chattanooga is different than Omaha. Like I didn't follow the league much last year. I just followed Richmond and Madison, really.
Yeah.
But I would see it like they're not that. Like they're having a pretty decent stretch of games here where they're like eking out these draws or these late wins.
right.
But eventually someone's gonna stop it.
Well, the big difference from Omaha last year is, besides Greenville, our defense was one of the top, and this year is the top defense in the league. Where Chattanooga's giving up goals still, and like you just said, Eb, like they're eking out draws sometimes with some of these late goals. So it's not like they're getting late goals and winning. The scary part for them is, for all of us, is they are still getting points. So, even if the bottom falls out for a little bit, if they've gained enough points to be in at least the top 6, I think they can make the playoff. I don't know if they can make top 2. I don't know. I mean, that means they got to catch Greenville and Omaha and probably beat both of them at some point and actually take more than just a point off of them. Now, to answer your first question, how annoying would it be if they won the whole league? That'd be super fucking annoying.
I'd have to quit.
Yo, can you just imagine how much shit
Oh my god.
Chattanooga FC fans will have to oh my
Oh.
god. Twitter might
Well,
burn that.
All of us will, because how many of us give their fans shit on Twitter constantly? They'll be insufferable,
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. But just imagine, like, if you're a Chattanooga FC fan and the Red Wolves win the title, woo, that would be spicy. That would be crazy.
They gotta fight.
Oh yeah, I'm still waiting for the day they get drawn together in the U.S. Open Cup. Like that might be the game I go to because I want to.
There you go. Yeah.
So the other talking point in the games we had was FC Tucson over Fort Lauderdale. Only real talking point about this game was FC Tucson coach get fired. Did it catch you guys off guard? Were you guys a little taken back by it, or you guys just like,
I think that's what happens when you go independent, right? Like people expect results then because you're not a 2 team anymore. You're not just there to develop players. So, and I think
They
a
won.
lot. Yeah, But I think they had high expectations coming into it. You don't go independent without wanting to make the playoff and make a run for the championship, I think. So
No, that's true. That's true. Like I think
although
Tucson,
we're not the EPL, so it's like, what are we doing here? Firing guys 11 games in.
like I think the thing about FC Tucson, I think that probably led to this was the 5-1 ass smacking against Fort Lauderdale, and the fact that like their team, like offensively going forward, was fine. It was the defense that was all over the place. But like you said, like it's 11 games in. Like this is I wouldn't say new coach. I think he was there last year.
Yeah.
But even still, like I guess he just got to the end of it. But we'll see. And then we have Greenville. They get their first win in a little bit. I think I had to pull it up here. Yeah, their first win in 3 games. They were on a loss, draw. Do you think Greenville back in form now with this 3-0 win over Revs 2, or is it still like they can kind of slip up here and there?
It's Revolution for one. I mean, I don't think they're back yet. I mean, they still got to work on defense. Like, it was just a Lomas hat trick.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but...
Did Dallas J grow his hair back yet? Because that's when they're going to be good again.
Yeah, he's kind of like Solomon with that hair. Like,
yeah.
He has that hair growing out. He is unstoppable.
Dude.
He takes like a haircut.
China broke him for a while there.
Yo.
He went on international duty and came back, and dude just started giving up goals left and right. I couldn't believe it.
When you play 3 international games and you give up a combined, I think
it was a lot.
15 goals with an average of 20% possession.
Yeah,
man, that will kill anybody's spirit.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, and I think he's still a great keeper. I think he's between that and their defense isn't looking as rock solid as normal. I think that they're they obviously have the firepower again this year. That's helpful for them, but.
Let me ask you this because it kind of just popped in my head. Do you think Greenville is merely just Lomas, like Mario, or do you think it's more than just him? I mean, he's just a cherry.
In terms of offense or overall?
How well Greenville has performed this year? Like how they're doing this year?
I think it's typical Greenville of if you get a guy that can score goals, all they got to do is get the ball to him.
Yeah.
And they play well out of the back normally, and they have good midfielders. I think too, bringing in some of their newer guys, I think sometimes you forget how guys can gel and how. I mean, we could have had a similar thing with bringing in Hurst and Doyle and throwing them into the starting lineup, and if they didn't gel right away, all of a sudden it looks disjointed. It looks weird. We just got lucky that those guys formed together really well, but. You bring a guy like Don Smart who has a lot of experience in, and you still have some of your veteran presence in the back, and it just kind of depends who's the leader in that group right now. And I think Lomas is just benefiting off of some of that service and some of the play around him too.
I mean, their offense lives and dies by Lomas because he's got 11 goals on the season. The next person even close to him is with 2 goals with McLean and Booth.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, their wins and losses come from him producing.
Right.
And I've seen him not produce. It hurts.
That's fair.
You mentioned it, like, Lomas has 11 goals, but, like, you would think they would have someone that has, like, 4 or 5 assists already this year.
Right.
He had 2 guys on 2 assists.
Yep.
And a whole bunch of guys on 1. So it's like,
they're just it's literally long ball. It's long ball. Get it into the box, Get it to his head, or give it to him so he can one touch it into the freaking corner. That's it.
It's typical Harks, like American soccer philosophy, right? Like Harks played in the era for the US men's national team where it was just get the ball forward as fast as you can and hopefully squeak a goal out. And I think that's just the way they play. And you can play that way when your defense is rock solid and playing really well. It's harder to play that way when you're shipping goals because then if you're not scoring on the other end, you're in trouble.
Because right now they're playing the game of you score 2, we score 3. Some games that works, some games it doesn't. Like it just depends on is Lomas on that day.
Right.
Like, are you getting the ball into a place where he can do something with it? He does a lot in the box, but he doesn't do a lot in the box.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds really weird, but it makes sense. Like he does a lot in terms of production, but he's not about to like make a ton of space for himself to either get that goal or to bring someone else on with him, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
That's bottom line.
Ev, do you still have Greenville missing the playoffs? Or are we revising that?
Nah, hot takes. Hot takes only.
Spicy.
There we go. All right, so we still sticking with it.
Yeah.
All right, so next up, we got USL League One Player of the Month nominees. If I butchered his name, it is what it is. Like we said, Mario Lomas, he's in there. Jaden Nelson from Toronto FC2. Juan Claudores, hope I said that right. Greg Hurst, JT Kamara from North Carolina FC. Guys, I know both of y'all are North Carolina and a Union Omaha fan. So excluding picking for your own person, because I know who you would pick. You can't pick your own person. Who are you picking and why?
Not one. Is that an answer? I don't know. I
don't care who it is, as long as it's not the Chattanooga guy. I don't give a damn who it is.
We already being too positive of Chattanooga, I can see on the podcast.
I mean, I will never choose Lomas. I'll never choose Lomas. Fuck Chattanooga. So, nah, fam. Nah.
Here, we'll do it this way. I'll pick the NCFC guy. You pick the Omaha guy. And then we didn't talk about our own player.
There we go. I'm going to go first.
There we go. I'll go JT.
There we go.
I mean, realistically, like the only person I can see winning it that should win it is maybe the Juan from Chattanooga. Like I think he's had the most goals, and if there's a stat on there who scored the most goals after 80 minutes, I'm pretty sure he's the leader in that. Another person, Greg Hurst, the hat trick he had this month is huge. JT Kamara, the way how he destroyed Richmond twice in that game. Jaden Nelson is literally the heartbeat of Toronto FC, and then Marius Lomas, the league's leading goal scorer with 11. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see.
Well, and I think you pointed out, Elliot, before we went live, like without Juan on that Chattanooga team, there's probably a lot of those games that they're not winning. He's not playing, you know. So there is that kind of that side of it where if you're talking about player of the month, is it somebody that's completely irreplaceable? He might be one of those guys. Although Mario's kind of one of those players you just pointed out, right? If he's not scoring, they're not winning. So
yeah.
But same thing with Hurst, same thing with Kamara. Like if those players are not in the lineup, where does your team look like? My team looks a lot worse than it does.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's saying a lot.
Yeah. And we would look horrible without Greg because we also don't have Conway right now. You know, Conway's been out, so it's like if you're down both your key strikers, then where are you sitting at?
Yeah.
Yo, that's one thing I wanted to ask you Omaha fans about because it's like if EVD is out, Conway's in. If Conway's in, then like someone else.
They're the same person. It's like Bruce Wayne and Batman. You never see them in the same room at the same time, right? No, I mean, EVD was nursing something in the off season, so they kind of brought him back slow. From what we know about Evan Conway, it's a groin thing. So you know how groin injuries can go. Sometimes you're feeling good, and then all of a sudden that next day it's hurting you again. So I mean, we're getting results, so I don't think Jay's in a super big hurry to rush Evan back if he doesn't need to, knowing that we still have a lot of season left, and hopefully a long playoff run in us too. So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's no point of rushing someone back, like if you don't actually need that player to play that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the crazy part is we're playing a midfielder at striker right now in Devin Boyce. So,
I mean, I'm playing Luke Pavone literally at striker, right wing, left, back, right back, and I think he's played every position on the field this year except for goalkeeper.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you need those guys.
Yeah, you do. You do. All right. So we're gonna move on to the power rankings. If we're moving a little bit fast, it's because Ebony has to get to a movie by 10 o'clock, and she literally told us not to hold her up.
All right, you're not gonna play me like that. I told you my time limit.
And it's not even Black Widow.
Right. Like she didn't get on this pod. It was like, look, we got to start on time because fast now. That joke of a movie.
It's gonna be a joke of a movie, and I can't wait.
I mean, after that many, how can it not be?
Yo, I'm really just waiting for the point for Dom to have a transformer in a movie. Like I'm just waiting for one of the cars.
Yes.
We're gonna be on Fast and Furious 38.
And Optimus Prime shows up.
Yo,
Vin Diesel is still somehow talking about family. I don't get it.
How about family?
I didn't realize he said family. He says that same line in every movie. And
Oh, yeah.
someone like pointed it out. I was like, holy shit, he does.
Yeah, and then it became a meme like instantly this week, so it was amazing.
Do
Perfect.
you realize like his like the number of words, the number of like lines he has in the movie has decreased? Like it's like he acts less in the movie. So now it's like if you go look at the first Fast and Furious, like he's really acting. Like he's acting.
Yeah.
It's just a whole bunch of him just like still shots of him just standing there pissed off, saying family. Like he doesn't really say a whole bunch. They're trying to phase this man out slowly, like John Wick. They are slowly phasing this man out.
He doesn't
You
care
put some
though, 'cause they
respect
keep
on
paying
John
him.
Wick's name.
John, okay, don't get me wrong.
Keanu.
John Wick's a great movie, but John Wick 1 versus John Wick. By the time John Wick 4 come out, John Wick ain't gonna say no words. It's gonna be straight killing. He's gonna say all the 3 words and have 50 murders within the first 30 minutes.
Perfect.
Exactly. That's all that movie's about now. It's just him.
That's why you go to those movies, right?
Yeah. Like my wife never seen the John Wick series until like this past quarantine. So we sat down one day and watched 1, 2, and 3. And
Oh no.
like,
Did you have 16 hours?
look, it was boring during quarantine. But she was like, how is he killing this many people? Like that's all that man does is kill. And she was like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
dog. Yes. For a dog.
Yep, over a dog, yeah. Yeah, they refrigerated the dog and it was over.
Yeah. Murdered everyone. All right. To the pick'ems we go, man. To the pick'ems we go.
Wait, I thought we were doing power ranking.
Yeah, it was power rankings.
Oh, my fault. Power ranking. Both start with a P. Should I start from the bottom? Should I go from the top? Which one should I?
Start from the bottom.
Oh, because you're not at the bottom this week.
I'm not at the bottom this week,
You're
fam.
at the bottom this week. We got North Texas. They dropped one. They go from 11th to 12th. At 11th, you got Fort Lauderdale. They dropped 3. They go from 8th to 11th this week. At 10, North Carolina FC. They stay right at number 10. FC Tucson goes up 3. Up from 12, they go to 9th. New England Revolution drops 3. They go up to number 8. They were at 5 the week before. South Georgia Tormenta goes all the way from 4 to 3 with that loss and a draw. They are 7. Toronto FC goes up 3 to 6. They go from 9th to 6th. Richmond goes up 1 from 6th to 5th. Fort Madison goes up 3 from 7 to 4. Greenville stays the same. Chattanooga stays the same. And Union Omaha stays the same. So, guys, let me ask you this. Would you change the pick'ems? I mean, not the pick'ems, the power rankings. Would you keep them the same, or would you change any team around?
I would change Fort Lauderdale and North Texas.
Okay. What's the reason why behind that? Because they're both at 11 and 12.
Yeah, I think one is trending down worse than the other, and I think Fort Lauderdale's the one that's trending down worse.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Power rankings are funny because, especially the way they do them with on League One's site, that it doesn't really make sense sometimes with the actual rankings, like with the standings.
Because I remember one
Yeah.
week they had Fort Madison 1 after losing.
Yeah.
It makes zero sense.
So, I mean, I believe that Forward Madison is Kyle's not here, so I can say this. Do I believe that Forward Madison's the fourth best team right now in the league? No,
No.
I don't believe they are. So it's hard for me to say, but it's power rankings. You know, it's based off of performances through the week, and I don't know that any of the top three teams did anything to hurt themselves in a power ranking sense. I don't know. You get past a certain point with power rankings, and it's kind of arbitrary. Like 11 and 12, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
like you're saying, it's kind of like, I mean, you're one of the bottom two teams at this point. Like,
Yeah. It's almost like we're treating this like the BCS at this point. This is
for sure.
This is like our BCS power rankings. And we just got to figure out who has the bigger home advantage and who's winning, and who can Lee Carson put on the head for. I mean, really, outside of this, I'm fine with it for this week. I think the only thing, maybe switch Revs 2 and FC Tucson. But I mean, once again, like your 8 and 9 is not really kind of picking hairs at that point. So yeah, it's power rankings. It is what it is. So now we go on to the standings. Now, for the standings, this is what we got. We got North Carolina at 12, North Texas at 11, FC Tucson at 10, Revs 2 at 9, Kickers at 8, Toronto at 7. In the playoffs right now, Fort Madison, South Georgia, Fort Lauderdale, Chattanooga, and then your 1 and 2 seeds will be Union Omaha and Greenville Trial. So, let me ask you guys this. I got another question for y'all. By the end of July, what team will have the biggest falling in the standings, and what team will climb the most in the standings?
Fort Lauderdale will have the biggest fall.
Okay.
I agree with that 100%.
And I actually think North Carolina will have the biggest climb.
Ooh. Why do you think that? That's an interesting thing.
Just because just the pieces that we're getting back, so we're gonna gain a lot of points. I don't know where that moves us into the standings, maybe like 9th or 10th. If that. But it's gonna be one of the biggest turnarounds for sure. And I think Fort Lauderdale is finally going to hit that wall and start coming down.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with Fort Lauderdale. I think they're the ones in the standings. They're kind of that team that's up there right now in the playoff position that everybody's kind of scratching their head at. I think. Maybe Tormenta is a little bit more of a surprise too. I don't, especially their season last year. I don't think anybody expected them to jump up, but they seem fairly consistent on how they're playing. I could see Richmond making a run. It seems like they have a good string of games coming up where they can get some good results. I think, Tucson's one of those teams. I've been high on them. I think that once they settle down with their coach, they could make a run and gain some points here soon. I can say this. I don't think the top 6 we see right now is the top 6 we see in October. I think a lot of teams are going to move.
So I think for me, I think you guys are absolutely right on Fort Lauderdale because this month alone they only have 2 games. Both of those games against Fort Madison and Richmond. I think both of those are on the road. Yeah, both are on the road, and that's going to be tough to get 6 points max out of that. 2 wins against 2 strong teams like that. While you guys were talking, I was looking at. I think Toronto FC might pop his head into the playoff race. If Fort Lauderdale falls, I think Toronto FC has a good chance of moving itself in because they play Revs 2 twice. Granted, both of those are in Boston, but there's no real home field advantage. They play North Carolina. They play Greenville.
Oh yeah.
So I think maybe 2 wins, a draw, and maybe the loss to Greenville. Or who knows? Like maybe they might pull it off. But
I think the thing that hurts Fort Lauderdale too is they've already played 14 matches.
Yeah.
Right. So they're tied with the most played already with Tormenta. And so you're looking at a team that if you start losing points in any way and other teams start catching up on games played, it's really going to hurt your standings at some point. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I kind of always forget that Toronto is sitting where they are in the table. And maybe it's because they didn't play last year at all, but I kind of keep forgetting they're sitting right there at 7, 6, 7 in that range, and they're a dangerous team. They can be.
Because they played in games at such an awkward time. Like,
Yeah.
They were playing like every 3 days.
Oh, it was nuts. Yeah, they just kept going.
I think another team you might want to keep an eye out on is North Texas. They play at. I mean, of course, they got Plastico this weekend, which is a weird ass derby. I literally don't understand how that is a derby, but hey, it is what it is. They play Chattanooga and then they play Union Omaha. The reason why I think North Texas is interesting because they play 3 independent teams that are currently right now in playoff position. If they manage to get 2 out of 3 wins, like that seriously messes up the table in some weird way for somebody.
Yeah.
You know, like that might be a game you look back on and be like, damn, that's the difference between us having a first round bye and us starting on the road. You know?
I especially if you look at so John Ryan, he contributes to our blog and stuff. What's up, Riley? But John, he pointed out to me that North Texas has gotten 11 out of their 18 possible points at home and 0 points on the road.
Jesus.
So with two out of their next 3 being at home, they could easily pick up 6 out of those 9. And then coming to Omaha, they haven't played well in Omaha. They like to complain about our field, but that's a whole other story. But even if they come to Omaha and get a point out of that, and they're walking out with 7 points out of those 3 matches, that's gonna boost their standings pretty quickly. And like you said, then it Riley, you keep throwing me off. No, but I mean, if you look at where Madison's sitting and Chattanooga sitting, if North Texas pulls off wins in both of those down in Dallas or down playing in Texas, that could really hurt their chances later on too. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
It is. It's going to be very interesting to see how the table kind of plays because I think like July is going to be an interesting month for the table. Like it's going to be because by the time September hits, the table is what it is. Like, it's no real changing. There's no,
right.
You might be moving a spot here and there. July is where you make a run. If you like for Richmond, it's an important month because if we want to have a potential of, saying we want to be that 2 or 3rd team, 2nd or 3rd place team, not have to run the table, but it's important games we're coming up on. So
yeah, for sure.
Going to be interesting. What's up?
I mean, I've got, who do I have? I have Greenville, then I have Toronto, and then a short week. We get the Kickers, and we've already played once.
For that game. I'll be down there.
Oh, word? Okay.
Coming on down.
There you go.
Well, now I know, and now it is, I guess I'm taking a day off of work. Whatever. Oh, God, we got to get turned up on a Wednesday and carry. All right.
Do what you do, baby. Do what they do.
Dude. All right. I guess I'm excited. I think I may be a little bit optimistic here. I don't know for sure, which is weird because for several of these episodes, I was not that. Everybody kept telling me, don't hit the panic button. And I'm like, I already hit it 3 times.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough not to.
It's after that win, and then we come back and then draw. And then they announce the the player development thing that they have happening. Pretty cool. I'm seeing this team in like a whole new light, and it's pretty fun. I'm very surprised that I'm enjoying what very much is this team, especially after the very bad hard time.
Happy about your team supporting your team.
Nah. It's weird. I don't like it.
Look, like, what are you saying? For North Carolina, you guys got Greenville, Toronto, the Kickers. Can you guys come out there with 2 wins? Can you guys cause an offset? Yes. I mean, you guys did it against us. Hell yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I think as long as now, I will say this: the key to your team is to come down to 2 points. I've told you this all year. Do not start Thompson because he is trash. Like, when we do this USL the best player of the year and the worst player of the year, I'm voting Thompson. He is by far the worst League One player I have seen this year. Homeboy is a solid 6'3", and you soft as tissue paper? Buddy. Like, bro, like, he's that kind of player that you would look at and be like, oh, when we play pickup basketball, like, oh, I'm going to pick him first. Because he got some height on him. I would throw him a couple of Adams. Then as soon as we play, he take his big ass to the 3-point line and want to shoot. Brent, put your ass in the paint. What are you doing? It annoys the hell out of me. I'm sorry.
He can't because he can't take the elbows.
Right, he's soft. He's soft. He is soft. And that was literally the change point of the game because I think y'all put him off at halftime and y'all put someone else up top. And Lord and behold, y'all scored. Because why? Because you had a striker that was
Frame.
physical.
Yeah.
Frame. We put Frame in.
Exactly. And the other part is, as long as JT stays healthy, or if Lula doesn't call him back up, he is a big component of what y'all do offensively. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what y'all have to do to have that man to come stay for another year, but whatever y'all got to do it now. It just
Call
tells us,
Louisville.
like, yo, we will build the team around you. Like, you can pick who you want. And we'll do this.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I'm excited for him. I just wanted to see him with someone like a veteran presence beside him so that he can learn and he can stop trying to run the whole game by himself because that's not what he's here for. He's way too young and he's way too inexperienced for that.
I mean, look, the way how you crisscrossed up Richmond, he can do whatever the fuck he wants to.
Yeah. We're going to build a shrine for the man. Like, sign it. Like, we'll go fund me his contract.
Yeah, exactly.
There you
That's
go.
all you
Yeah.
gotta do. Take
There we
the
go.
release calls, go fund me. I don't even know if he got a release calls, but damn it, whatever it is, like,
Everybody got to put 5 on it. That's it.
So before we head into the pick'ems, we're gonna go into USL dropped an article this week on League One players headed to the CONCACAF Gold Cup. There's only one, so the article didn't really help anyone. But USL League One player, and that's Francois Dulis of Revs 2. He's going to be playing for Haiti, but USL League One alum Ronaldo Damas also got called up from Orange County Soccer Club. So, guys, are you guys going to be paying attention to the Gold Cup? What's your expectations about that? It's probably the only part that we ever talk about the USMNT on this podcast.
I will be paying attention. I've said this before, like, USA is going to make it. They're going to grind out some ugly 0-0 or 1-0 wins and then lose in the final.
I can see it. Yeah.
They're not. They haven't had a lot of time under Berhalter, especially this group. Definitely a B squad playing because it's all of our A squad is taking a break. They just played Champions League, Europe qualifications, all that good jazz.
Well, those World Cup qualifiers come right after the tournament. I mean, so you don't want those guys tired on international duty. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm actually going to the Canada group stage match in Kansas City on the 18th. So I'll be down. That's a 3-hour drive from Omaha. So I'll be down there for that one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I have requested the time off from work. I am just waiting to hear if I can go.
There you go.
Yeah, just leave anyway.
I'll just leave anyway.
Who needs a job?
Responsibilities. Fuck it. He's like Thompson, just be soft and be like, I don't know if I can do it.
Damn.
Oh wow. I mean, I can't even be
dislike for that man. I don't even know.
I can't even deny it because he's soft as shit. Like,
it's like, how do you argue, right? Like,
I can't argue something is right. Like, shit.
But me as a USMNT / Jamaican national team fan,
Yeah, there you go.
And a lot of our players come from the championship. I'm really hoping we get out the group stages. I low-key had us going to the final, and then I realized we played the winner of, well, if we win the group, we play the second best team in the group that America's in. So we're either going to play the USMT or Canada, and I'm just praying we don't lose by 3 goals.
Bold of you to assume that Canada gets out that group.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
The group of the US is USA, Canada, Martinique, and who else? Haiti?
Is it Martinique? No, it's Guadalupe.
Canada should get out. If Canada don't get out, they need to blow up that whole project.
They should, but it's also CONCACAF, so stuff happens.
Yeah. Oh no, it's Canada.
Is it Guadalupe in our group?
It's Martinique, USA, Haiti, and Canada.
Okay.
Canada already beat Haiti. Martinique is Martinique. And then USA, they should finish that. They should finish that.
They should.
They should. And then I'm praying Jamaica's going to finish fucking third.
I haven't even seen who's in Jamaica's group.
Costa Rica, Guadalupe, and Suriname.
Yeah.
Remember, the weirdest fucking group is Group D, where it's Grenada, Honduras, Panama, and Ecuador.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Like,
every single one. Everybody. I hope everybody does.
Yeah. Every time they come out.
Oh, we do have Martinique. Okay.
Yeah.
Haiti could surprise some people.
This is the same team that goalkeeper did a double back pass into the goal. No. Absolutely. I will bet money that they make it out this group. I'm fine with that.
So who's coming out of Group A? Mexico and Trinidad?
I'm gonna go Mexico and Curacao.
Ooh.
That'll be fun.
That'd be cool.
Be fun. We have a player from Curacao on our team. Why was he not called up?
Because Curacao currently went with the Dutch B team.
Fair.
Curacao was like, "Oh, you're not Curacao. You're Netherlands."
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
Just
I hope
falling back on
Qatar
their old
lose
name.
4-0. I hope Qatar lose 4-0 every single game.
Fuck around. Qatar's gonna make it to the final and win by 3 goals.
That would be the most CONCACAF thing to ever happen.
Yeah, I would have to quit CONCACAF at that point.
Right. Yeah.
And it's gonna be Panama and Saint Grenadine coming out of that group.
Yeah,
it's gotta be. Gotta be.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Love Honduras, but it's just not happening for them.
I don't know, man. I think Honduras win that group. I think Honduras wins that group because no one else in Group D is competitive enough to really like stick around with Honduras.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we sleep on Panama. We sleep on Panama too much.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, Honduras and Panama should win this group decisively. The only controversy should be is if, like, Qatar comes out there and shocks someone, like, game.
Right.
Then we're like, oh, okay, what's up? But outside of that, they should win this group. The only group that looks somewhat caduffled is Group C, and that's Jamaica. And Jamaica is known for shooting themselves in the fucking foot. The fucking Ivory Coast of CONCACAF.
Well, and Costa Rica is they've just come out of nowhere, and the last few rounds, even last World Cup qualifying, stages and stuff, just came out super strong. Looked good in the World Cup, so
I just want Guadalupe to just have fun. That'll be great. I stayed up for those PKs. I shouldn't have stayed up for those PKs.
Imagine how pissed you got to be if you're Guatemala. Damn, sorry.
Yeah.
First of all, Guatemala should have lost anyway. Trinidad and Tobago should have lost. We're not gonna talk about that though.
Man, this is awesome. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the pick'ems. So the three games that were picked this week was New England versus Toronto, Greenville versus North Carolina, North Texas versus Madison. Everyone on the pick'ems pretty much went for Revs 2. Greenville, North Carolina, everyone had Greenville as their lock. Sorry, Ebb. And then North Texas, Madison was split. You had one going for Madison, one for North Texas, me, and then you had a draw. Guys, let me ask you, what are your picks and why in those three games?
So
Go for it.
yeah, so we do pick'ems, do a pick'em blog. I think it'll actually be out tomorrow too. So with our people that contribute for the Who Gives a Hoot for our media empire. So for
yo, if you don't follow Who Gives a Hoot, they are a fucking they're like the ESPN of League One. Like,
we try.
You guys have fucking everything, and I'm like,
Yeah.
who the fuck is it on this fucking writing staff?
We even have a guy named Rich. See, he's not Rich Eisen, but he's close.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for y'all to get like Tifo football and start doing like actual fucking game day analysis of like pinging shit around. Like, I can't wait for it.
Yeah, we need to do that. So for the first match for the New England Toronto, I actually picked a 2-2 draw for that one. I think New England's just one of those teams that when they're on, they're on. Now it's Boston, and neither team are used to playing in front of crowds, so it doesn't matter like whether there's fans in the stands or not. So that was my pick there. Ebb, I'm sorry, I picked Greenville 2-0 over North Carolina. And then Kyle's not here, so I don't have to apologize as much. But I think North Texas is going to beat Madison pretty. I picked 3-1 on that one.
Damn.
Well, it's North Texas at home. They play all their good players when they're at home, and I think this is when they start picking up points. And so I don't know. Plus, sometimes we have to like pick matches. Now I thought I was being really like slick picking 3-1, and then a couple other people picked like 2-1 North Texas. So I was like, well, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, so I had Greenville winning and North Texas winning.
I also have a draw for New England versus Toronto because there's going to be no defense. So it's either going to be a draw or a 3-2 win for someone. Don't know who. Greenville versus us. I've got a draw as well. Hopefully, it's either a draw or a win for North Carolina. Who knows? I can dream, and I'm just gonna put it out there. And then North Texas versus Ford. That one's a little hard. It's either gonna be a draw or North Texas win.
Yeah,
that's kind of where everybody's leaning, and I kind of agree. I can see Madison scoring like 1 or 2, but I can also see North Texas just running rampant and going, you score 2, okay, we're scoring 4.
So. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like, I think the most interesting game out of this week, well, we talk about the other games after this week. It's not a lot. This week, let's see who we got playing. We only got 4 games this week.
Yeah, there's only 4 matches.
You got Revs 2 versus Toronto. You got Chattanooga versus FC Tucson, Greenville versus North Carolina, and then North Texas versus Fort Madison. Those are your 4 games. So, Ryan, you probably know how we do. We give a chaos pick of the week, and then we give a vibes pick of the week. Your chaos pick is a game that you think everything that can go crazy will go crazy in this game.
Okay.
And then your vibes pick of the game is the game that, for the casual, guys that people that want to get into League One, they should watch and check out. So we'll let you go first. Who is your chaos and vibe pick of the week?
I think the chaos pick is actually the Chattanooga Tucson match. I think that's going to be, just because of the way the two teams play, it could easily. I picked Chattanooga to win in our pick'em, but I could easily see Tucson going to Chattanooga and causing problems and pulling a crazy draw or even a win out there. The match, a vibes match to get people into it. I mean, I know the name and the name of the derby and all that is what it is, the El Plastico, but the North Texas Madison match, tends to have some fun that happens with it. And like you were saying, like they North Texas could easily get scored on and then go down and score 2 in 5 minutes. And so if you're a casual fan and you haven't really watched League One and you want to watch a fun match, that could easily be a match that's a lot of fun to watch and get you into the league. And the fun part about North Texas is even though they're a 2 team, they don't brand themselves like a 2 team. So if you're a casual and you're watching it, you'll have no idea that they're a bunch of of kids that are trying to get into an MLS squad. So yeah, those are my picks.
All right. What you got, homie?
My chaos game is gonna be that Revs Toronto game. That's just gonna be. It's either gonna be a 0-0 draw or like a 3-2 win or a 3-3 draw. It's just gonna be chaos because it's gonna be no defending. It's literally gonna be like put the ball down. Okay, they scored. Put the ball down. Okay, they other scored. Okay, cool. My vibes game is gonna be my game. It's either gonna be very easy 0-0 1-1 draw or Greenville's gonna cruise.
Who the hell is gonna turn into a 1-1 draw?
It's my vibes. It's my vibes.
Because you're gonna be at the stadium. Gotcha. Self-picking makes a lot of sense. All right. So my chaos pick, I got North Texas versus Fort Madison because one, North Texas is great at home. They suck on the road. They also have a bunch of red cards, and I imagine that this also depends what FC Dallas does because since they're home, I can see FC Dallas sending players down.
Mm-hmm.
And in this record, in this home, in the series between the 2 teams, 7 games have been played. North Texas has won 5 of them. Fort Madison has only won 2. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I think, have they won in North Texas? No, they have never won.
I was going to say.
So yeah, that's going to be interesting. So for Fort Madison to go to North Texas and get a win is either. It might be panic time for North Texas. Let's just say.
Yeah, that'd be huge for Madison.
Yeah. Oh God, Twitter. I might have to mute Twitter again that day. It's some games that Fort Madison wins where like the plastic fans act super insane. I'm like, all right, calm your tits. Yep. It's not that important. Right. Like, what we're doing here. My vibes pick of the week. I'm gonna go Chattanooga versus FC Tucson. Just because FC Tucson has a tendency to score early and give up goals late. Chattanooga has a tendency to give up goals early and score late.
Yeah.
And Chattanooga red coach, I think he's the first head coach this year to get a red card. Obleda. I think he's the first head coach this year to get a red. And Tucson has a new head coach, so it will be super interesting to see how that goes. So that's how that goes.
We actually picked the Copa final and the Euro final too.
Ooh. Look, we might
just because we had a lack of matches, you know.
Yeah.
So football's not coming home, and Argentina Messi finally wins. It's not coming home.
No, it's not. No, after Jorginho's penalty, I was like, I'm Italy. You got my support now. That was the most audacious penalty I've watched in a long time.
No, it wasn't.
Oh my God.
That Unyan Simon dove hella early. He dove earlier with the head dove in the Europa League final.
I know.
By the time that man dove, Jorginho was like, "Oh, I can just."
Yeah.
Anyway, done that.
And then he walked up. He went cold on him too.
It would have been more interesting. It would have been better if he did it where Unyan Simon didn't dive like a full 5 seconds early. Then I would.
Fair enough.
I think my picks, I got Argentina just because of the sympathy pick, and I'm gonna go England just because if I go England now, then in the World Cup is going to be a shitstorm.
Is football coming home? You know what?
As Kasper Schmeichel said in his interview before their match, has it ever been home? And they said, well, in 1966, and he said, but that's the World Cup, not the Euros.
Yeah. This is very true.
They've never won the Euros, so
This is
Not
going to be
wrong.
hella interesting.
it'll be interesting. Yeah.
Let's see. Last thing to do before we wrap up. I'll just give you guys the quick player stats of the year. Your top scorer, like we said, is Marius Loomis with 11 goals next. Is Greg Hurst with 7. Then Emiliano Tuzarki with 6. Your assist leader is George Acosta for Fort Lauderdale. He has 6. Then you have JT Kamara 3, and then Giovanni Corlaxic. I don't know how to say his last name. We'll just say Giovanni. He has 4 for FC Tucson. And let's see, saves. If I can get to it. Oh, clean sheet leader is Pablo Hara. So, all right, let me ask y'all this real quick. Is Pablo Hara a good goalkeeper?
Saves is one of those things, though. Like, is it good that your keeper has a lot of saves?
That's a good question.
That is very true. But I'm just saying, like, overall, like, when you watch South Georgia games, like, do you feel like he's a good goalkeeper and the defense is just a bit bad? Or do you think, like, he's not all that?
I mean, I think the number of shots that he faces, he's a good keeper. It's the opposite of Dallas J last year, where actually the last 2 years before this season, where Jay was like guy that everybody said was the best keeper in the league, but in reality, his defense helped him out so much. And you got guys, you got guys like Akira, even Rashid for us, like, you know, that they do more than that. Where I think Pablo, I mean, he's facing a lot of shots. He's keeping them in matches. So, I mean, that makes you a good keeper. But I hate that saves is a statistic that they want to track, because I don't know that getting shot on a whole lot of times is a good thing for your team in general. I know the Golden Glove is usually, isn't it on save percentage?
I think so.
Because I think Shido,
Probably.
yeah.
Probably is.
Because Shido is at like 0.6 something, leading that. But yeah, I mean, I have no disrespect for Dallas J. It's just when you have that good of a defense in front of you and you're not seeing a lot of shots, it's easy to look good. So Pablo Hara seeing a lot of shots and having that many saves, that's a good, I mean, that would indicate he's a pretty good keeper, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just feel like he's our goalkeeper to read, because it's like the defense is so all over the place. You're just like,
right
out there. But I mean, if you look at, like we said, Nuhu, Akira, Dallas J, Pablo Hart, like, he's probably the 4th best.
Yeah,
I would say. It's just all depending on, like, you know, where you're at. I don't think you can go wrong with any of those goalkeepers, in my opinion.
I would not complain if any 4 of them were in my goal.
No, probably not. You really good to have them all to go. But yeah, that's everything for episode 7. You know, we're a bi-weekly show, so we're every 2 weeks, not every week, so we don't cover every game. But Ryan, man, we want to say thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for having me. Hey, Elliot, if you come out in October for the Omaha Richmond match, we want to have you on Who Gives a Hoot.
Ooh. Even
October 23rd.
That'd be cool. Even oh dang, I can't, because that's my school's homecoming.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's gonna
No.
be drunk. Yeah, he's.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
Even if I can't come out for that, I'll come on to the pod and hang out with you guys.
Hell yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, man. Any last things before we wrap up this week's show?
No.
Thanks for
having me. I'm about to go see a terrible movie. Let's go.
Good thing you were drinking that moonshine first.
I know, right?
It's not gonna be good. I mean, you gotta watch under the influence of something to enjoy it.
Well, yeah. Hey, if you guys ever need me again, let me know.
Oh yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. As always, listeners, we want to say thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your nights for watching us. It really helps if you support the show. Like us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter at Walking90. Like, share, subscribe, give us those 5-star reviews. Always, you can find us on all podcast apps. We have the pod because Kyle takes care of that. He's the man. Yeah. Podcast drops the day right after the episode drops. So tomorrow, if you don't want to look at our beautiful faces, I don't know why not, because literally an Oreo right now. For you. You can listen
I got it.
Home somewhere. As always.
All right. Cool.
As always,
Thanks,
guys, we'll holler at you guys later. Be easy. Be safe.